Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Yeshi Chonzo. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 7th of July. Top Hizbul commander involved in several terror crimes killed in an encounter in India's Jammu and Kashmir. Taliban cannot make Afghan government surrender even in 100 years, says President Ashraf Ghani. And legendary Indian actor Dilip Kumar dies at 98 due to prolonged illness. And now for all the details. Mehrazuddin Halwai, one of the oldest and top commanders of Pakistan-based Hizbul Mujahideen terror group, was gunned down in an encounter in Handwara district of India's Jammu and Kashmir on Wednesday morning. Halwai was involved in several terror crimes, including killing of civilians.
Security forces killed a top terrorist of Pakistan-based Hizbul Mujahideen terror group in India's Jammu and Kashmir, who was involved in the recruitment of new insurgents and other terror-related activities in the valley, police said on Wednesday. Mehrazuddin Halwai, believed to be one of the oldest militants in Kashmir, is said to be a contemporary of militant Burhan Wani. He was caught during a regular checking of police based on intelligence inputs. During the search for his cache and other supplies, he fired on the security forces with his AK-47 and was killed in a retaliatory action by the security personnel.
तो फिर आर्मी, सीआरपी, एसएसबी, पुलिस मिलके 4-5 जगह कॉर्डन सर्च किया। बहुत सारे सामान मिला है। एक जगह के लास्ट पॉइंट पर जहां इसका AK-47 छिपा हुआ था, जब ये जा रहा था AK उठा के नॉर्मल फायरिंग करना शुरू कर दिया। फिर इधर से रिट्रीट किया गया, जिसमें उसे मारे गए विद, और ये सिक्योरिटी फोर्स के लिए, पुलिस के लिए बहुत बड़ी कामयाबी।
Halwai was involved in the killing of civilians and security personnel and recruitment of new militants. This comes days after two terrorists were killed in an encounter in Kulgam district last week. Kashmir is a Muslim majority region at the heart of decades of hostility between India and Pakistan. India accuses Pakistan of supporting militancy in the area. Pakistan denies the charge, saying their support is only moral and not financial or logistical.
In news from Pakistan, a day after reporting less than 1,000 new COVID-19 cases since July 1, Pakistan has once again reported 1,517 new cases, taking the total tally in the country to 966,007. NCOC, a department leading Pakistan's campaign against the pandemic, has confirmed presence of different variants of coronavirus, including the Delta, Beta and Alpha variants, in the country, and detection of their cases in May and June. Pakistan on Wednesday reported 17 deaths and 1,517 new coronavirus cases, taking the total fatalities to 22,469 and the total number of cases to 966,007 respectively. While the active number of cases are 34,013, 909,525 people have recovered from the virus so far. A total of 17.39 million vaccine jabs have been provided across the country as of July 6. The National Command and Operations Center (NCOC), a department leading Pakistan's campaign against the pandemic, confirmed presence of different variants of coronavirus, including the Delta, Beta and Alpha variants in Pakistan, and the detection of their cases in May and June. According to the NCOC, the National Institute of Health has been monitoring the presence of different variants of coronavirus in Pakistan, reports suggest. On Monday, the NCOC had warned of strict restrictions as it observed violation of coronavirus SOPs in several sectors following the relaxation of curbs. Moving on, campaigning is on full swing in Pakistan-administered Kashmir for the assembly election in the illegally occupied region, scheduled to take place on July 25 amid the coronavirus pandemic. Locals and activists blame that although Islamabad claims to have given autonomy to the region, the Legislative Assembly is not allowed to pass any legislation without its approval.
Electioneering is underway in full swing in Pakistan-administered Kashmir for the July 25 Legislative Assembly poll in the illegally occupied region amid the coronavirus pandemic. Nazir Ahmed, cousin of Prime Minister of Pakistan-administered Kashmir, Raja Farooq Haider Khan, who has split from the PMLN party, said that he joined Pakistan People's Party due to the latter's failure to bring development and work for welfare of the common public. He expressed he was hopeful of PPP's win.
कोशिश करेंगे कि जो फेलियर राजा साहब ने किया वो हमसे ना हो। मैंने राय साहब को बनफ्से नफीस ये बात गुजारिश की कि इलेक्शन हारना कोई मसला नहीं होता, सियासत हारना मसला होता है। आप पर दूरी जिम्मेदारी थी, आप पार्टी प्रेसिडेंट थे और साथ प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे, आपने सियासी फेलियर करके अपनी सियासत हारी है।
Locals have long blamed that over 7 decades of Pakistan's illegal occupation has pushed the territory into the most neglected and backward region due to rampant corruption and exploitation by Islamabad. They lament politicians make hollow promises to bring about development every time when there are elections, but all in vain.
In news from Afghanistan, Afghan President Ashraf Ghani has said that the Taliban cannot make the Afghan government surrender even in the next 100 years. His remarks came as the war-ravaged country is witnessing a surge in violence as the insurgent Taliban has intensified its offensives, while international troops withdraw after a 2-decade-long war.
Afghanistan's President Ashraf Ghani on Tuesday said that the Taliban cannot make the Afghan government surrender even in the next 100 years. Ghani made the remarks during a cabinet meeting at the presidential palace. He said that the Taliban and its supporters were solely responsible for the current bloodshed and destruction in the country. Afghanistan has been witnessing a surge in violence as the Taliban has intensified its offensives against the government forces and is making territorial gains, while US and NATO troops withdraw after a 2-decade-long war. Meanwhile, Afghanistan's National Security Advisor Hamdullah Mohib said on Tuesday that Afghan security personnel who fled into Tajikistan are being brought back to rejoin the fight. He said some 2,300 who abandoned positions across the country had returned to service. The crossings have raised alarm in Afghanistan's northern Central Asian neighbors. Russia, which maintains a large military base in Tajikistan, has also said it would help stabilize the border with Afghanistan if needed, both directly and through a regional security bloc.
More news from Afghanistan. 5 athletes will be representing Afghanistan in the Tokyo Olympics this year. Despite dilapidated sports facilities and security concerns, Afghan sprinters Kimia Yousufi and Shah Mahmood Noorzahi have defied massive odds to be at the Tokyo Olympics. And authorities said setting new national records would be as good as gold medals for them. Kimia Yousufi and Shah Mahmood Noorzahi are among the 5 Afghan athletes who will be competing in the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Both Yousufi and Noorzahi are current national record holders and will compete in the 100 meters event in Tokyo. It will be the second Olympics after the 2016 Rio Games for 25-year-old sprinter Yousufi, who is also the only female athlete to take part in both games representing Afghanistan. For Yousufi, an Afghan refugee born in Iran, the road to the grand stage at Olympics was not an easy one. Her family fled their home country during the Taliban reign.
به خاطر این رویا چه کار کردم که همیشه با حمایت خانواده فقط تمرین کردم، خیلی تمرینات پرفشار را انجام دادم و تانم که به این رویا دست پیدا کنم. شب و روز همی بوده، فقط از کل تفریحاتم، از کل برنامه‌های دیگه که هر دختر به زندگی انجام میده، با دوستاش بیرون میره یا با خانواده وقت میگذرونه یا با فامیل هر کار میکنه، از کل این برنامه‌ها زدم. صرف هدفم تمرین بوده و تمام.
Compared to Yousufi, who now has access to training facilities in Iran, Noorzahi has to make do with what he can get his hands on. Apart from dilapidated sports facilities, security concerns are always in the back of his mind.
ما 2.5 سال که آمادگی گرفتیم بخیر به مسابقات المپیک. الان به آمادگی عام تام به لایه ژاپن میشیم که رکورد افغانستان هم بشکنیم که مدال طلای المپیک هم برای اولین بار کسب کنیم که مدال طلا تا به افغانستان کسی نورده. ان شاء الله امید داریم.
All the 5 Afghan athletes, the other 3 competing in taekwondo, swimming and shooting, failed to qualify for the Tokyo Games and will participate on wild cards. The pair left Kabul for Tokyo on Sunday and will spend 15 days at a training camp in Fukuoka before the Olympics begins in July 23. In news from Bangladesh, soldiers directed traffic while people queued for essential goods and free food handouts in Bangladeshi capital Dhaka on Tuesday as the government has extended a strict coronavirus lockdown until July 14. Health authorities have said Bangladesh is combating a surge in coronavirus cases led by highly contagious Delta variant, which emerged in neighboring India.
Soldiers directed traffic and a specialized police unit administered hand sanitizer in the streets of Dhaka on Tuesday after Bangladesh extended its strictest coronavirus lockdown until July 14. A surge in cases had prompted the government to order a week of tight controls on July 1. This Monday, the government said the measures had been extended. Factories are allowed to operate observing health protocols, while all offices and transportation remain shut except for essential goods carriers and ambulances. In some areas, people queued for essential goods and free food handouts.
রাস্তাঘাটে কোনো মানুষজন নাই, হ্যাঁ, খালি গাড়ি নিয়ে খালি ঘুরে বেড়াইতেছি। এই গরমের মধ্যে রোদের মধ্যে খালি গাড়ি নিয়ে ঘুরে বেড়াইতে পারতেছি না, খুব ক্লান্ত হয়ে গেছি। এই জন্য মাজারের সামনে আসছি কিছু ফ্রি খাওয়ার জন্য।
Meanwhile, at a local cemetery, relatives of a recent COVID-19 victim gathered to bury their loved one. The South Asian country reported 163 deaths and 11,525 infections as of Tuesday, taking the cases tally to 966,406. There have been 15,392 deaths overall.
আমি এক বছরে 1262টা লাশ দাফন দিছি। ইদানিং করোনা লাশ আরও দাফন বেড়ে গেছে সারা বাংলাদেশে। এখানে এক সপ্তাহে পরে 18টা লাশ মেরে দিয়েছি, আরেকটা লাশ এখনই চলে যেতেছে।
Health authorities have said the country is combating a surge in coronavirus cases led by the highly contagious Delta variant, with areas bordering India taking the brunt of infections.
Dilip Kumar, one of India's most respected actors and known for his roles as a tragic hero in Bollywood films, died on Wednesday morning. Kumar was 98 and ailing for some time. Bollywood actors and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tribute to the legendary actor. Dilip Kumar, one of India's most respected actors and known for his roles as a tragic hero in Bollywood films, died on Wednesday morning, his family said. Kumar was 98 and ailing for some time. Born Muhammad Yusuf Khan in 1922 in Peshawar, now in Pakistan, he was known by the screen name of Dilip Kumar once he joined Bollywood in the 1940s. Kumar did his first film Jawar Bhata in 1944, which tanked. His breakthrough role came in 1949 with Andaz, where he played a jilted lover who is caught in a triangle between the woman he loves and her husband. That role catapulted him to stardom and was the beginning of a decade where he made a career of playing tragic roles. Bollywood actors and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tributes to the late actor. Actors and politicians arrived at Kumar's home in western Mumbai city to pay their last respects.
आज तो एक युग की समाप्ति है, एक सदी की समाप्ति है। हिंदुस्तान का प्री इंडिपेंडेंस कोई ऐसा एक्टर नहीं है जिन पर दिलीप साहब के अभिनय की छाप नहीं हो। इनफैक्ट हर कलाकार में, चाहे वो सुपरस्टार हो चाहे वो छोटा छोटा कलाकार हो, उसमें सब में दिलीप कुमार साहब नज़र आते हैं।
Kumar, who is survived by his wife Saira Banu, a top Bollywood leading lady in the 1960s and 70s, was laid to rest with full state honours at Juhu Kabristan in the evening. Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/AsAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @AsAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good